Hi everyone and welcome back to the course. In this lesson we're going to create the textures for our product. So I've tidied up my workspace here a little. Here is my light, the background, the can and the bottle. Okay, so let's start creating the textures that we're going to need. We're going to need a plastic texture for the lid. We need one for the label, for the bottle itself, the outside of the bottle, which will also be plastic, the liquid inside the bottle, the drops of condensation on the surface, and finally we're going to need a tin texture for the can. So let's get to it. The same as we did for the light, we need to create a VRay texture. So click here on Create, Shader, Examples, VRay Bridge, VRay Advanced Material. Holding down Ctrl, you can copy this. The first one could be the texture for the bottle itself, which is plastic. So this is what we'll do. Select Specular. We won't use Fresnel. Most of the same concepts apply as with the standard texture creation. The amount here refers to the transparency, so we could put it to 100%. The glossiness, you could set that to around here. Maybe a little bit less transparency. Now here I need the texture. I'll apply one that's a Fresnel, a kind of gradient, but this is quite intense, quite harsh, so we want to change it to decrease that intensity. You can change this colour here so the gradient isn't too abrupt. Except that I want it the other way around. So take this handle over here and the other one this way. So this will be applied to the sides of the bottle. This side here and this one here. Now let's test out the material. So I know that this is going to be the liquid, and this one is the outside of the bottle. Now I'll add my texture to it. You can deactivate the liquid for now, and let's see how it looks. We're getting that reflection that I mentioned on the edges. You could also add a colour to the background to see how it looks against it. And this colour would come through the bottle as it's almost 100% transparent. So we'll add one in the Diffuse Channel. As this is for the background, a flat colour will do. So something like this. Okay, let's now add this to the background. Okay, let's add it. And let's preview this part here. Okay, it seems like it hasn't added. So we need to add it to the background. There we go. Let's take a look. Okay, it looks good, but the inside part is still missing. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've deactivated this, and now we're going to create the inside. We can use a copy of this, but we're going to apply a different effect. We're going to add a gradient. We can then change the type of gradient, maybe something like that, or like this. That's okay. A radial one might look nice. We just need to adjust this. Okay, on this end we can apply the more intense color, something like this, and this one, something like this. You can then adjust the intensity of the stronger color. So I'm going to add this to my object, to the inside. Let's take a look. So what happens when we add a gradient like this in the diffuse channel? We get this kind of effect here, making it look more like liquid. We can then add to this material, to the drops, a type of refraction. So let's go here and create a refraction material. So we'll check this box here, refraction layer. Then you need to input this number in here. You can also create a specular layer, but just a small one. And we're going to place this on our drops. Select it and drag it here like this. Let's see what it looks like. Now, of course, that we have more information, the render process will go a little bit slower. So it's taking quite a long time. And what we could do is a preview in a lower quality, but just enough so that we can quickly see how it's coming along. So we can select all of this like this, and then interactive render region. And right click here and let's adjust the render settings here. So 21% maybe. Let's take a look at that preview, and we can get an idea of how it's looking. So obviously the quality is lower, as I said, but it's just to get a general idea. And I like how the drops are looking, and I like this part here. We just need to add a material to the lid, another one for the can, and one for the label too. So let's get to it. I don't need this preview right now, so I'll get rid of this. I'm going to use this material right here. I'm going to duplicate it and add a specular. Okay, another one. I'll lower this a little. I'll remove the Fresnel. Around here. Maybe I'll leave the Fresnel on for this one. And in this one, I'll remove it. Lower the amount. Okay, let's apply this to our lid. Drag it here. Let's take a look. Okay, so the lid is looking really good. You can do as many previews as you want to see if the material is correct. So I'm happy with this. That's enough for me. Now let's move on to the next material, which is the tin material for the can. So we'll go into here. And now here in the specular, we need to adjust the Fresnel. This type of material needs quite a high Fresnel. So you could try 80 and you get something like this. And in these settings, we could adjust the depth. Let's try 18. And let's leave the Fresnel around here. We could set this to 100%. Now we can apply this material to the can. Just drag it on. Let's see how it looks. I think the material looks good, but there are some errors in the rendering as it's next to the bottle. We need to apply a tag so that this shadow here from the bottle doesn't affect the rendering of the can. But we'll adjust that at the end. Right now we'll focus on the material for the label. Go here to the label, the selection we made earlier. If you remember, we made a selection here in the select panel. So here I have the label, where the triangle is. Let's create a material, and I'm going to add a texture to this. So here in texture map, there's my label texture. This is the one for the can. Okay. And this is what I will use for the label. I'll add a specular, not too much, something like this. Then simply drag it like this. We can make some adjustments here. So we can adjust here to turn it around, and we could change the projection to cylindrical. Again, just adjust these settings so the logo is right in the middle. To do that better, I could deactivate some of the things that aren't allowing me to see it properly, like the Gurad shading lines, for example. Okay, just turn it slightly like this. Now I have realised that the texture is the one meant for the can, so I'll open up the one that I created for the bottle, the label for the bottle. Okay, it would be this one here. So we just need to remove the one for the can and add the correct label. Okay. And here it is. There we go. Again, cylindrical. And adjust these values to turn the logo around so it's in the middle. I'll set this to 10.8. Or maybe 10.9. Something like this. Okay. Let's take a look at the label. There it is. And to add the label to the can, you just need to follow exactly the same process. So great, we'll leave it there for now, and in the next lesson we'll carry on with the rendering of the image. So I'll see you there.